Long before he became the hero, millions of gamers know through Black Myth, Wukong, before he challenged heaven, before he earned the title, the Great Sage equal to heaven. Sun Wukong wasn't even human. He wasn't born into a royal family. He wasn't created by the gods. He came from something far more extraordinary, a single stone. For more than 400 years, the legend of the Monkey King has inspired books, films, television series, and now one of the most celebrated action RPGs ever made. But despite his popularity, many people only know fragments of his story. Today, we're exploring the complete journey of Sun Wukong, from his impossible birth to the rebellion that shook heaven, and the adventure that transformed him into one of mythology's greatest heroes. This video follows the original events of the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, while also highlighting how they inspired Black Myth, Wukong. Let's begin where every legend starts, with a miracle. According to Journey to the West, high atop the mountain of flowers and fruit stood an enormous magical stone. Unlike ordinary rocks, this stone had absorbed the essence of heaven and earth for countless ages. It was nourished by sunlight, bathed in moonlight, and filled with the spiritual energy of the universe itself. One day, the impossible happened. The stone cracked open. From within emerged a fully formed monkey. The moment he opened his eyes, beams of golden light shot toward the heavens, astonishing the celestial court itself. Even the gods realized that something extraordinary had just entered the world. Unlike every other creature, Wukong wasn't born with a destiny written for him. He would create his own. At first, he lived like any ordinary monkey among the others on the mountain, but even then, his courage made him different. When the monkeys discovered a magnificent waterfall hiding a mysterious cave, none dared to enter. Only one stepped forward. The stone monkey leapt through the rushing water and discovered a paradise hidden behind it. From that day onward, the other monkeys crowned him their king. Thus began the reign of the Monkey King. For many years, the Monkey King ruled happily, but eventually, he witnessed something that terrified him. Death. He realized that no matter how joyful life seemed, every creature would one day grow old and disappear. Unlike wealth or power, death couldn't simply be defeated. Or could it? Determined to escape mortality, Wukong abandoned his kingdom and began searching the world for someone who could teach him the secrets of immortality. His journey lasted years. He crossed mountains, rivers, unknown kingdoms, until he finally encountered a mysterious immortal sage known as Subhuti. This meeting would change history forever, because under Subhuti's guidance, the curious stone monkey would become something far greater than anyone could have imagined. He would become Sun Wukong. After years of wandering, the Monkey King finally arrived at a secluded mountain, where he met the immortal sage Patriarch Subhuti. Unlike many teachers, Subhuti immediately recognized that this unusual monkey possessed extraordinary intelligence and determination. When asked his name, the monkey admitted he didn't have one. So the master gave him a new identity: Sun Wukong. Sun became his family name, while Wukong can be interpreted as, well, I guess, awakened to emptiness or awakened to the void, reflecting important ideas found in Buddhist philosophy. It was more than a name. It marked the beginning of a completely new life. Under Patriarch Subhuti, Sun Wukong mastered disciplines that ordinary mortals could never hope to understand. He learned meditation, ancient spiritual practices, the secrets of immortality, and perhaps most importantly, he discovered how to manipulate his own body and spirit. Among his greatest abilities were the 72 earthly transformations. Contrary to what many people believe, these weren't simply 72 different animal forms. They represented a vast collection of supernatural techniques, allowing Wukong to transform into animals, humans, objects, insects, and countless other forms whenever the situation demanded. Combined with his intelligence, these powers made him incredibly unpredictable. An enemy could never be certain what he would become next. and remains a signature part of his character in Black myth, Wukong. It symbolized more than physical movement. It represented freedom. No wall, no kingdom, not even heaven itself, could easily contain him. The lesson Wukong refused to learn. Despite becoming an extraordinary student, Wukong possessed one dangerous flaw: pride. One day, eager to impress his fellow disciples, he openly demonstrated his supernatural abilities. When Patriarch Subhuti discovered what had happened, he became deeply disappointed. The master had always warned that true wisdom required humility. Power without restraint would only invite disaster. Subhuti knew exactly what awaited his gifted student. Before sending him away forever, he gave Wukong one final instruction: never reveal who taught you. It wasn't a punishment born from anger. It was an attempt to protect both himself and his disciple from the consequences that were almost certain to follow. And unfortunately, those consequences arrived sooner than anyone expected, because when Sun Wukong returned to the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit, he wasn't just a monkey anymore. He had become a force powerful enough to challenge the entire world. When Sun Wukong returned to the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit, his fellow monkeys celebrated the return of their king. But Wukong quickly realized something. A true king needed a weapon worthy of his strength. Hearing of the magnificent treasures hidden beneath the sea, he journeyed to the underwater palace of the Dragon King of the Eastern Sea. The Dragon King welcomed him with respect, but every weapon presented to Wukong proved too light or too fragile. Then Wukong noticed something extraordinary: a gigantic iron pillar standing deep within the palace. This wasn't an ordinary weapon. It was the Ruyi Jingu Bang, a magical pillar once used by the legendary Yu the Great to measure and stabilize the seas after catastrophic floods. When Wukong approached it, the pillar responded to him. It shrank from an enormous column into a perfectly sized staff, as though it had been waiting centuries for its true owner. From that moment on, the Ruyi Jingu Bang became one of the most iconic weapons in all of mythology. Capable of changing size and weight at its master's command, it was as unpredictable as Wukong himself. Despite mastering immortality, Wukong eventually discovered that the rulers of the underworld still considered him mortal. One day, messengers from the realm of the dead arrived to escort his soul to judgment. Wukong refused. Instead of accepting his fate, he marched directly into the underworld itself. There, he confronted the kings of hell and demanded to see the Book of Life and Death, the sacred record containing the names of every living creature and the moment each life would end. When the book was brought before him, Wukong found his own name. Then he did the unthinkable. He erased it. Not only did he remove his own name, he also erased the names of many monkeys from his kingdom, freeing them from the natural cycle of death. It was an unprecedented act of rebellion. For the first time, heaven realized that the Monkey King wasn't simply breaking rules. He was rewriting them. Reports of Wukong's growing power soon reached the Jade Emperor. The Celestial Court faced a difficult decision. Destroying him might trigger even greater chaos. Ignoring him was no longer possible. So heaven chose a different approach. Instead of treating him as an enemy, they invited him to become an official in the Celestial Court. On the surface, it appeared to be an incredible honor. But in reality, it was a carefully planned attempt to keep the unpredictable Monkey King under control. Unfortunately for heaven, they underestimated two things: Wukong's intelligence and his pride. After arriving in heaven, Sun Wukong was given the title Keeper of the Heavenly Horses. At first, he accepted the position, but it didn't take long for him to discover the truth. His role wasn't prestigious at all. It was one of the lowest-ranking jobs in the entire celestial bureaucracy. The gods hadn't welcomed him as an equal. They had mocked him. Humiliated by the deception, Wukong abandoned heaven and returned to his mountain. There, he declared a title that would echo throughout mythology: the Great Sage Equal to Heaven. It wasn't just a name, it was a challenge, a declaration that no god, emperor, or immortal stood above him. That single decision marked the beginning of one of the greatest rebellions ever told. A rebellion that would soon pit one extraordinary monkey against the full might of heaven itself. And the consequences would reshape Chinese mythology forever. Sun Wukong's story doesn't end here. In fact, the most famous chapters of his legend, including the Peach Banquet, the battle against heaven, his confrontation with the Buddha, and his journey alongside the monk Tang Sanzeng, were still to come. But those are stories for another day. If you'd like to see a full documentary covering Wukong's rebellion against heaven and the events that inspired Black Myth Wukong, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of mythology's greatest heroes, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Shane Reviews, and turn on notifications for more Black Myth lore, gaming documentaries, and mythology explained. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.